Okay, awesome. So if we look at our recipe, the first thing we're going to do is make our homemade ranch. So you can either use Greek yogurt or you can use non-dairy yogurt, whatever works with your dietary preferences or needs. Basically, by making our own ranch at home using yogurt, we're gonna add some extra protein to that base. So it adds a little bit more nutrients, which is always a good thing. So the first thing we're gonna do is just take 1 cup of Greek yogurt. I just bought a single serve of Greek yogurt, so that's automatically 1 cup. So I'm just gonna take that and put it into a bowl. If you are measuring from a large container, just measure 1 cup and then you can put that into a bowl. I'm using a spatula too, just to make sure I get out everything from the cup. All right, and then let me get a thumbs up when you guys have all your yogurt measured and in a bowl. I see Lowe's measuring. Awesome. Caitlin, you froze a little. Are you all set or are you still working on it? You got a thumbs up. All right, you're all ready. So the other good thing about using this is the yogurt doesn't really taste different. So it's still going to taste just like the ranch that you would buy from the store. But like I had mentioned before, it'll just have some extra protein. Yogurt naturally has some probiotics, which is good for your stomach and your intestines and your gut. So that's good too. Well, you all set? Thumbs up? Perfect. Okay. So next we're going to add some ranch seasoning powder into that yogurt to make our mix. So you pretty much want 1/4 of the packet. I had used a bunch before to when I tested this recipe. So it's pretty much down to here. You can eyeball it because all it's going to do is just control how much flavor is in there. So I'm just using 1/4 of that packet. You can use less or more depending on what you like. I'm just going to mix it until it's fully combined. All right. So now my mix is fully combined and there we have a homemade ranch. Very easy. You can do this too if you want to have like ranch with some veggies or as a snack or even with a salad dressing. You can easily just make your own ranch dressing at home just like that. So it's really, really simple. So once everyone has their ranch mixed, I will wait for a thumbs up for that and then we can go on to the next step. Perfect. I see 2 thumbs up. Great job, guys. Okay, so now we're going to slice our green onions. So I'm going to take 3 green onions. Trying to get good ones. So I'm going to take 3 of these and we're going to slice them on the thinner side. We're going to use our rocking motion like we've done many times in the past. So you're just going to go back and forth. We're going to make them just about that size. They don't need to be super small, but not that big either. And we're going to use the whole thing. Sometimes we only use the green. Sometimes you only use the white. We're going to use the whole thing today. Probably down to this part. And I know I had mentioned this in a previous class. I don't remember if everyone was there, but if you were not, what you can do with these parts of your green onions is if you stick them in a little bit of water in a container and then put them in the fridge, they'll start to regrow. So you basically can grow your own green onions once you buy some. So that is very handy as well. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to put them in my fridge. So we have this like this good amount of green onions here. You can always do more if you like more or less. I am just going to put them in this large bowl here. And then once everyone has their green onions sliced, we can go on to the next step. I see one thumbs up. Good job, Caitlin. This recipe too is really good because you can substitute out the barbecue sauce for pretty much any sauce that you would like. So that makes it very versatile. All right, everyone good? Perfect. So then to that bowl, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of our ranch that we just made. So basically we're going to have a little bit left at the end, which we're going to use to spread on the tortilla, but we're just going to measure out 3/4 of a cup. So I'm just going to scoop that in. I'm using a 1/4 cup here. And once it's full, I'll use that same spatula to dump it out into the bowl. And I'm just going to do that 3 times. And that will make 3/4 of a cup. And then that will leave us the perfect amount to spread on our tortillas when we make our roll-ups. Last one. This is giving me a little less than usual, so I'm going to do just short of 3/4 of a cup so that I have enough to spread later. And that is all set. So once your ranch is added into your bowl, give me a thumbs up and we'll go on to the next step. Caitlin, I see you. And Lo, I see you working hard over there. All right, how we doing? All ready to go to the next step? Perfect. Okay, now we're gonna add our barbecue sauce. So we're gonna measure 1/2 cup of your favorite barbecue sauce. I'm just gonna add that into my measuring cup here. Once I have that, just dump that right into your big bowl as well. Just gonna scrape all that out too, so I get everything. Everyone's doing awesome. And then once you're all set, give me a thumbs up and we'll add our next ingredient to the bowl. Perfect, Caitlin. And perfect, Lo. All right. So now we're gonna add, if you have barbecue spice, a powder, you can add that. If you don't have it, that's totally fine. I got this one from my Trader Joe's nearby, but it is definitely not necessary. But if you do have it and would like to use it, we're gonna be adding 1 teaspoon of this. So that's our little measuring spoon that says TSP or lowercase t. So we're just gonna add 1 teaspoon of that. Into the bowl. And then you have one more thing to add to this bowl before we can mix. So once you guys have that stuff added, one more thumbs up and then we'll add the last ingredient. Perfect. Okay. So now we're going to add 1 3/4 of a cup of shredded cheddar cheese. So we're just going to do the same thing. Let me get my measuring cup. So my 1 cup right now is dirty. So I'm going to be using my 4th cup again. So I'm just going to have to do it a bunch of times. So we're just going to measure that all out, dump it right in the bowl. All right. And then once you guys have that added, you can go ahead and mix that all together until it's well combined. So once it's all mixed, it should look something like this, like a creamy barbecue sauce. And then you see the cheese in there and the scallions as well. So once your sauce mixture is all mixed, give me one more thumbs up and then we will start with our chicken. Awesome. You guys are on a roll today. So to shred our chicken, we can do one of 2 things. We can either use our hands or we can use 2 forks. So you can do whatever you feel most comfortable with. If you're going to use 2 forks, the best way to do it is to stick 1 fork into the chicken like that. And then you use the other one to kind of start to separate the chicken and pull apart. So you get those shreds that we're looking for. And you want to make sure you get good size. You don't want too many big pieces. Or if you're totally fine using your hands, then you can just take the chicken with your hands and just peel some pieces off. And you want to make sure that your pieces, again, aren't too big. We want them like this size, kind of. So then you can just peel that with your hands until you get through the whole piece of chicken. Now this, with the amount that we're using, this is going to make 4, we're going to use 4 wraps. But if you wanted to make more, like if you wanted to make it for a whole week, then you could double it or even triple it depending on how much you would want. So we're just going to keep shredding until we get to the end of our piece of chicken. This is probably what will take the longest out of this whole recipe. I see you guys doing a good job with your shredding. Keep it up. And you could even use something like rotisserie chicken for this if you didn't want to make chicken ahead of time. Or you can buy the pre-made chicken breast from the grocery store. That makes it even quicker because it takes away the time of cooking the chicken. Or you could do veggies instead of chicken too. Nice job, everyone. All right, I'm almost at the end of my chicken, but I still got a little ways to go. All right, there we go. It's pretty crazy how much shredded chicken one chicken breast can give you. It's a good sized pile. All right, let me wash my hands really quick. How's everyone doing? Are we doing well? Perfect. All right, so we're gonna go on to the next step, which is pretty much we're just gonna add the chicken into our barbecue sauce mixture, and we're gonna mix that all up again until the chicken's evenly coated in that sauce. So we're just gonna take all of the chicken and put it into the bowl. And then we're just gonna fold that chicken in until it's evenly coated. So now it's gonna look a little bit thicker. All right, perfect. So we want it to look just like that. And now we can get ready to assemble. Everyone ready to assemble? Cool. Okay. So we're gonna want to clear off our cutting board. Make sure you got nothing on there, because we're gonna use our cutting board as our surface to roll our pinwheels. So we're gonna do it one by one. So the first thing you're gonna do is grab one of your tortillas. It calls for 10-inch tortillas. My store only had the 8-inch ones, so I'm just going along with that. So we're gonna take one tortilla, lay it flat, and we're gonna take a small amount of that ranch mixture that we saved and spread it on the bottom. So just a little bit, just to coat everything. Nothing too crazy. A little bit will go a long way for this. So we're going to spread it out all over. And then the next thing we are going to do is take a good amount of that chicken mixture. And we're going to put that on the tortilla as well. So I'd say like 2 to 3 spoons, depending on how much your spoon's going to give. This is actually kind of a lot for 1 spoon. So that's probably a good amount right there. And the key is we want to spread it out across the entire tortilla, because then when we roll it, that's what's going to give it our pinwheel effect. If we put it all in one area of the tortilla, then it's just going to look like chicken in the middle of a rolled up tortilla. But if we spread it out like this, then we will get our pinwheels. All right, when you have your chicken spread out on your first tortilla, give me a thumbs up. Cool. All right, so now we're gonna roll it. So you're gonna start with the side that's closest to you. So when you put your hands down and the tortilla is right in front of you, you're gonna start right here. So you're gonna take the side, lift it up, and you're gonna start to roll it. And try and roll it as tightly as possible. You're just gonna keep rolling away from you until you get to the very end. And once you get to the end, now you're gonna have this log shape, right? Oh, that looks awesome, Caitlin. Nice job, Lo. That looks great. Okay, so now that we have our logs, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use our knives carefully to now cut the tortilla into little pinwheels. So the end pieces aren't gonna be as good because there's a little bit of extra tortilla on there. But so we're gonna cut like about this thick. And you want to be careful when cutting, because actually you can see there that one's just unraveled a little bit. So you want to cut really, really carefully. Don't use too much pressure, because then all the filling's going to come out. So you want to go back and forth like that and let the knife do most of the work. If you keep going back and forth, it'll make its way down the tortilla. If you press too hard, everything might spill out at the end. So what you want them to end up looking like is this little roll up like this. So you can see the chicken and all of the layers of the tortilla just like that. So we're going to keep doing that throughout the entire tortilla. And then we're going to get all our little pieces that look just like this. And then we're going to do that a bunch more times until we use all of our filling. It should be about 4 tortillas, but it might be a little bit more depending on how much you have. So you can just place your cut roll-ups off to the side. And then we can start on another one. So we're going to get another tortilla. And we'll take a little bit of ranch and spread that on. Now we're going to take another good spoonful of the chicken mixture. And spread that evenly on the tortilla. You don't want to do too much. I'm going to take a little off here, because then it might explode when you start to roll it. I'm going to turn mine this way. And then once again, we're going to start from the end closest to you and start with a really tight roll. Once you have it rolled up, then you can take your knife and start making those really soft cuts. So the end pieces are usually the ones that end up unraveling a little because there's not as much filling over there. But once you get to the middle, they usually stay put, especially since we put that ranch down. It kind of acts like a glue too, to keep everything together. And remember, when you cut, you use a very gentle pressure so that nothing spills out on the side. Just go down the whole tortilla. And then we have our little pieces again, just like that. So each roll up is probably, I mean, depending on the size of the tortilla, mine's again a little bit smaller. And I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces, including the end pieces, which are not as great, but we're going to get around at least 7 pieces from each. So that's great for a lunch or a snack. Everyone looks like they're doing a really nice job. I'm going to make another one too. And this one's a little smaller, so I'm not adding as much to it so that it doesn't overflow. See how this works. And if you wanted to add something crunchy to this, you could even put a piece of lettuce on top. So then that way you roll it, you have a little bit of a crunch in those bites. All right, I'm going to roll it this way again. And cut. Another thing that could be handy too is if you have a serrated knife at home, which is the knife that has the indentations along the edge, that can help get through the tough exterior of the tortilla as well. And since the inside is so soft. And we have the perfect little roll-ups. I don't know about anyone else, but all of my end pieces keep unraveling. So I don't know if that's happening to anyone else too, but everything else is staying together. How's everyone doing? Good? Did we make all our tortillas? That's awesome. I still have some chicken left, but basically you can just use, you can even save the chicken to have on its own, or you can just save that to make some more roll-ups whenever you need. But otherwise it should keep in the kitchen for, or in the refrigerator for up to a week if you have some extra, if you don't want to make more right now. But this is something that can be used for, you can bring it to school to have as a snack or in your lunchbox. And you can use your dairy-free yogurt if you need to instead of the Greek yogurt. You can substitute the chicken out for veggies, whatever you want. That's why this recipe is great. And as you can see, we went through this super fast. It only took us 30 minutes. So that's pretty good. Does anyone have any questions before we end the class tonight? I see Mr. Dinosaur, Caitlin. All right, well, if there's no questions, just as a reminder, our next class will be October 30th for our Mummy Pepper Poppers. If you guys need the link to sign up, that's in the chat, or you can always email that for us as well. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you guys again next week. Thanks for coming. I hope you liked it. Bye, everyone.